Hello and welcome to the Hindu's live telecast of the analysis of the Union budget presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Parliament just a while ago at 11 a.m. This was the eighth consecutive budget presented by the country's finance minister, who's been finance minister since May 31st, 2019. And in this budget, we have with us as guests, we have Nikhil joining us from Delhi. We have Bhagishri joining us from Bangalore. We have Amarnath joining us from uh, Patna. We have a range of our reporters spread out across the country to analyze state-wise allocations for this budget. I think I will straight away, without delay, go to Nikhil just to give a quick analysis of what this means for Delhi. We already know that the state is up for election. We already know that there has been a model code of conduct, and there's generally a spat between center and state when it comes to Delhi. So Nikhil, before we sort of let you go for other work, can you just quickly chip in and then tell us what's at stake there and how people are reacting?
Yeah, sure, Kunal. So there is no Delhi specific mention in the budget speech of Nirmala Sitharaman. On January 7, while announcing the election date, the CEC Rajiv Kumar had said that he'll be writing to the cabinet secretary informing that there shouldn't be any Delhi specific announcements in the budget so as to maintain a level playing ground. So that's what we have seen in the budget also. If you go through the budget speech, also there is no Delhi specific mention in the budget. But
Yeah.
reacting, these reactions are just starting to trickle in because political parties are also pretty much busy with the election campaigns. The election is on February 5th. So what we have so far is reaction from the Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal. So in the run up to the election, he has sort of made a demand that it should be mentioned, or there should be a law which should be brought in saying that the loans of billionaires won't be waived off. So he has sort of reacted to the budget and said in a post on X, saying that a large part of the country's treasury spent on waiving off loans of rich billionaires. I demanded that it be announced in the budget that from now on, the loans of any billionaires will not be waived off. With this money saved from this, middle class home loans and vehicle loans should be discounted. The rate should be brought down basically, and farmers' loan should be waived off. And he also said that income tax and GST rates should be halved. Sort of you save money from waiving off loans of billionaires and do this. And he's saying that I'm sad as this was not done. So currently, this is all the
Right.
reaction we have gotten. So past years, what we have seen is that because of the tiff between the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi and the BJP at the center, the AAP always complains after the budget that the central share of taxes for Delhi is remains unchanged and it's very low compared to other states and everything. And the BJP sort of standard reaction to that is, since Delhi is not a full state, a lot of
Right.
the Delhi police comes under directly under the center. The center is funding the Delhi police, so the government would be saving a few hundred crores in that. Or, for example, the Union Housing Ministry would be doing a lot of projects in Delhi. So the response of the central government has always been, of the last few years, that even though the central share of taxes remain unchanged, we are spending in Delhi a lot more money in different other ways. So we have not seen that played out yet, but we're hoping that that's what's going to happen again. But this is what's for now.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So, essentially, sort of a lukewarm response is expected from Aam Aadmi Party, and also, as you point out, Delhi sort of gets short shrift. At least that's how the state looks at it, because it's not quite a state, and much of its allocations come within the central pool, and there's a complaint, a tug of war that happens. So we'll probably get more on that towards the end of the day. I'll quickly go to Amarnath, who's joining us from Patna. And this is because in this budget presented by the finance minister, the state of Bihar gets mentioned 6 times. And the only other state that is mentioned at this time is Assam. And in the 6 mentions that has been there for the state, it ranges from food processing institute to expansion of capacity for IITs to the expansion of airport at Patna and various other places. And this is the second consecutive time when Bihar has sort of at least appeared to be given largest, because last year we have with us the Hindu that actually reports that last year Nitish hailed the budget as Bihar gets
Yes, right.
58,900 crores. as reported by us there. So Amarnath, why don't you take it from here and tell us what the initial reactions are and how the state's looking at it?
Yeah, hi, sir. Yes, not only Bihar was mentioned 6 times in my speech by Finance Minister, but she was wearing a sari today while presenting the budget, with a Madhubani art painted sari, what they call.
Right.
Because, the message was very clear because it's going to be an election year in Bihar. Election is due in October, November this year. So it's that message. Last budget, that was 58,900 crore. I mean, the budget, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar was specifically mentioned very prominently in the budget last time. Even this year, in this budget also, the finance minister has mentioned about the establishment of Patna Airport expansion, establishment of Makhana Board, even national food processing units, and Kosi embankment in Kosi areas. But Kunal, while speaking to the across people here, and even the former president of Bihar Industry Association, Arun Agrawal, he was, all these guys, even the deputy CM, he is going to hold a press conference at 4 p.m. today on this budget. But I spoke to him on phone, and he said that it was a historic budget. And the Bihar Industry Association members, they are also saying that it was a progressive budget, satisfactory budget, balanced budget, good budget, and all this. But what I believe, and while speaking to Sudhanshu Kumar, the economist here, he is associated with the ADRI, Asian Development Research Institute here, social sciences.
Right.
He was telling me that there is nothing new in it, because even last time there was something in the budget which spoke about establishment of subcommittee over this Kosi embankment, construction of Kosi embankment to check the prevent of recurring flood every year in North Bihar. But nothing has happened yet. Nothing has happened yet. Even this time, they have mentioned it, the Kosi embankment, but people are saying that even if it is implemented, it's very nice. Except that these three expressways, highways, nothing had happened on ground. What the people are believing here. But by and large, the NDA leaders are saying that it's a historic budget, it's a progressive budget, it's a balanced budget, and all these things.
Yeah.
And opposition is yet to come out with their statement. In any comment.
Right. It would be interesting what the opposition has to say. But as you say, often I think we miss the point of really analyzing what and really sort of investigating much of the outlays that are made in the previous year, especially if we consider, as you said, 58,900 crores really allocated for Bihar in the past year. How much of it really has been utilized? I think that's probably a story that you might be working on.
Definitely, I'll go through it. Yes.
But
the problem is that we do not know economics much. That's why we don't want to touch this segment and this section of stories. But I'll definitely cross-check it and try to find
so it would indeed be interesting to see, particularly because the state is now ruled by a coalition with the ruling party at the center. Just how much they've implemented, and as you rightly pointed out, it's an election year, and it's often the case where states that go to election are sort of given what are seen as SOPs, and this is much before the Model Code of Conduct kicks in, so it's no surprise that Bihar is mentioned. And we also saw a lot of heckling of the finance minister in parliament, as she was sort of mentioning Bihar every time. The opposition sort of caught on after
they have got 24 MPs in parliament from Bihar. They have got 24 MPs, 12 from BJP and 12 from JDU. Yes.
Right.
And even 5 from LJP, Chirag Paswan's party.
Right. So substantial treasury benches. Treasury benches mentioned there.
Yes.
All right, Amarnath. So thank you so much, Amarnath Tiwari, there joining us from Patna, giving us sort of a first blush of what initial reactions are coming in. I think I'll quickly go to one of the southern states and an opposition-ruled state, Karnataka. Here, our resident editor Bhagishri is joining us from Bangalore, and she's been patiently waiting. So if we can have her up. Bagi, the last time around when we spoke, we had an entire panel of the southern states because everyone was complaining. Not that it's very different this time, but the last time around, at least Andhra Pradesh got mentioned a few times, especially very conspicuous was the mention of this 15,000 crore for, the capital allocation of Amravati that we put up on our front page last year. But I remember very clearly speaking to you about how Sitharaman was very upset about the paltry provisions for Karnataka. How are things this time around? I think, Baghi, you're still muted. You might have to unmute yourself.
Now?
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So hi. So this time around, I think present a picture of complete contrast to Bihar in terms of the number of times mentioned or any which way you look at it. Not surprisingly, there's no mention of Karnataka or Bangalore or anything related to it in the budget speech. And I cursorily looked at the annexures and I don't see anything either. Of course, there'll be a few things tucked away somewhere like suburban rail, and these are things that have to be, something has to be given there, and they could be there if you look hard enough. But yes, not surprising. But absolutely, in terms of, there were a slew of demands that Karnataka had put out before the budget, in the budget meetings, and also, on Twitter and so on, and a letter written to. I mean, none of that is there in the budget. I mean, none of the specific allocations that were sought are there in the budget. To give a couple of examples, like for Kalyan Karnataka, what is called Hyderabad Karnataka region, which is the most backward region in Karnataka, there was a demand for a special grant of 5,000 crore this time. That cabinet had passed it, and then Kharge had written a letter to, because he hails from there, had written a letter to Nirmala Sitharaman asking that this should be considered. And there were other demands for Bangalore infrastructure and irrigation projects and so on. But I think and of course, there is always a complaint about devolution of funds. That is Karnataka and many southern states.
Many southern states, usually, yes.
Yeah, and also the
particularly as states which are industrialized and contribute more, which has also been the bone of contention at the GST meetings. Yes, go ahead. So, and if I can just quickly interrupt, I remember briefly last year there was some mention towards Bangalore Metro. Am I getting that wrong? There was at least cursory mention.
Suburban rail there was. I think there would be some money this time also. I mean, there would be. I mean, these are mandatory allocations that will have to be made, like where the state and the center have to, give grants in a certain proportion. These are all, these are, you have no escape from those. But in terms of what you especially seek for special allocations and so on, those nothing has been met. And also this particular mention maybe we can make of Upper Bhadra project. Like in 23-24 budget for Upper Bhadra, 5,300 crore was mentioned in the budget. Nothing has come from on that to this day. So in fact, I don't think, even as the chief ministers and others made these, demands for, grants in budget and so on, I don't think they really had too many actually hopes, because chief minister yesterday said it in so many words. He said that what can you expect when they haven't even given what they promised in the budget 2 years ago. So I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody, but this is going to be CM is going to hold a press conference around 3. So I think he will say more specific things then. But as of now, you see nothing.
Nothing else. So one of the things you mentioned was that. So two things you mentioned were, one, the development of the the Hyderabad Karnataka region, and then the specific irrigation project. Were there any other that the chief minister specifically sought from the central government this time around?
Yeah, like for example, for many of the other irrigation projects also, and Bangalore infrastructure in particular, for example, Tunnel Road and some of the big infrastructure projects. So there was a demand for all these also, especially Bangalore infrastructure. They had put up specific demand. That also I see. The only mention I see among several other things is ISC. This 100 crore for R&D. Among IITs and several other institutions, IIS's name is mentioned. That's
clubbed
all
together along with
that's all you can see actually. In terms
also on capacity expansion, I think. I don't know if they mentioned. All right.
But along with that, the total sum is mentioned, but that is all again nothing specific.
Right,
But
right.
the
Okay.
ASC usually gets some grant if you look at all the, because that's the nature of the institution and its funding is such that it will get its
There's
statutory.
there's always a central allocation, which is,
Yeah,
as you said, mandatory every year,
yeah,
which they get. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's hope for that three. Let's, I'll let you go to that to track the 3 o'clock meeting and then update us on that for the paper later in the day. So let me go across now again to another opposition ruled state, Telangana, and our resident editor Ravi Reddy is joining us from there. If you recall, Telangana was also another state that did not quite get much mention in the last budget, and I from my cursory look, hadn't seen anything this year either. And Ravi, from our conversation last time, they were furious, and I think they were one of the first to react. So maybe if you can begin with just what the reactions are there now.
Hi, Kunal. Reactions from the Congress party and the BRS is very strong in the sense CM is holding a meeting right now with his ministers and is likely to address a press conference. And the BRS has said that none of the promises that have been part of the bifurcation act has been fulfilled by the center. And while the BJP leaders are going gaga over saying that it's a game changer budget and it's a welfare centric, poor centric budget sort of a thing, they're talking specifically about the income tax relief and all that thing. But if you look at Telangana, again, last year it had suffered, and this time also its wish list included a demand for funds for the regional ring road, which is an ambitious 350 crore, 350-kilometer project that covers 6 districts of Telangana. It would be one of the biggest achievement if center had to give some budget for that thing. That has not been mentioned anywhere. And then there is the demand for radial roads also that covers outer ring road as well as the regional ring road also. There is no mention of that thing. And the metro rail phase 2 is much of 76-kilometer 4 corridor project that has been repeatedly sent across to center for funding has not been considered at all. And then Chief Minister Revant Reddy's Musi River Development Front project is also
Right, his pet project, really.
It's his pet project sort of a thing. And he has also made a mention about Godavari Musi River Link project also. They had written to the center for funding. It has not been considered. And then there is also a demand for greenfield highway from Bandar Port to Hyderabad, which is not yet considered sort of a thing. And if you look at last year, it was interesting to note that the Telangana Assembly, which was in session at that time, had even passed a resolution saying that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman should do a course correction and make changes in the budget, but nothing of that sort was considered. If you look positively towards the announcement in the union budget this time, there, in the agriculture front, we can see something about the national mission on high yielding seeds.
Yes.
Nizamabad district is the hub of seed production sort of a thing. Arbur, which has got a national turmeric board. So it's a hub of seed production. We'll have to see how the center is likely to do any justice to the region. Sort of.
There's also a mention of a gene pool bank, which in the outskirts of Karnataka in Hyderabad, there's also already the international.
We'll have to just watch on that thing. And then there is a mission for cotton productivity. Yes, it's a part of Telangana, North Telangana and South Telangana do have considerable cotton production area sort of a thing. So we can always look at whether what sort of funding is likely to come. And then when coming about the Atmanirbhar in pulses, we have a lot of districts that border Karnataka till Maharashtra sort of things. So the Vikarabad, Rangareddy, Nizamabad, Medak, Adilabad. These are all areas that go for ID crop sort of a thing, particularly pulses sort of a thing. Maybe we'll have to see if this could be of some help for the state of Telangana. And coming down to the health tourism sort of a thing, like health and medical tourism or the sector, Hyderabad is already a hub for health tourism.
Major hub for healthcare, that's right.
Major hub for health tourism sort of a thing. And if you look at, there are the top 5 corporate hospitals already have exclusive international facilities that attract lot of patients from abroad. So that is one thing. And then finally, if you talk about the medical education, it has promised to increase 10,000 seats in medical colleges, sort of a thing.
Nationwide.
Telangana has nationwide. Telangana has got 61 medical colleges, of which 35 are in the government sector. And the total intake is 8,600 as of now. And we have to see how many seats could be added to Telangana. That's one thing. And then daycare center for cancer in all district hospitals. Again, we'll have to watch out for any specific centers that are allotted for thing. And then coming down to the tourism thing, Charminar and Golconda are already in top 10 best destination. Maybe let's see what best can be done.
So of that 50, there'll be at least a couple that will come.
Couple of that will come. Overall, the budget has not been very encouraging for the state of Telangana, and we could see more fireworks by evening when the Congress government and the BRS will hold their press conferences. Let's see what happens. Okay. Thanks.
I actually just wondered, I wanted to ask you about this, the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project, on which there's been much controversy and, blame game between the BRS and the Chief Minister Revanth Reddy. Wasn't there a component of that which is also central?
No, actually, in fact, on the lines of Polavaram project, BRS government during its 2 terms had demanded that it should be given a national project status. And once the Congress government had come to power, it, instead of demanding for a national project, it has instituted an inquiry commission against alleged irregularity. So the state government has not recommended a project to be considered project status. So that thing stands continues on that.
That is right. And it's important to remember, as you rightly pointed out, that even though states don't quite get mentioned because the budget is, for the country, the various things sort of, it might have pockets of influence because of how the sectoral nature of allocations, as you pointed out, tourism. We'll have to see if there is, medical, and often the government also tries to prioritize states where there aren't enough medical colleges and hospitals and such.
But the BJP will be surely under pressure here because we have 2 union ministers and 8 MPs out of the 17 seats that we have. So 8 Congress and 8 BJP. So now the pressure is building on the BJP leadership to ensure that leverage some more specific funding for the state government projects, sort of thing. Let's see. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you so much, Ravi Reddy, there joining us from Hyderabad, the resident editor of The Hindu, who giving us a sort of a comprehensive perspective of what the budgetary allocations mean for the state. And if I can quickly now go to its neighboring Telugu-speaking state, Andhra Pradesh, our Ari there, Appaji Redam, who has been waiting as well to join us, which is now, of course, BJP ruled, Telugu Desam party and BJP alliance ruled state, and I think I'm being told he probably may not be there on the call. Just he's probably left the call. Probably quite busy, because I remember that he might be sourcing Telugu Desam party reactions to this. If not, then if we can probably just go to Tamil Nadu. Last year, if our viewers recall, the Chief Minister Stalin, MK Stalin here in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, from where I'm sitting, actually boycotted the Niti Ayog's meet post the budget. That was the sort of strong reaction that he wanted to send across for sort of feeling like Tamil Nadu was really given short shrift. And we had T. Ramakrishnan, who's joining us, one of our senior political reporters, who had also mentioned the government's reaction here. TRK, thank you so much again for joining me here. So maybe briefly your comments. What has been the state government's reaction, and how do you see this budget's allocations benefiting Tamil Nadu?
So far, I think state government is yet to respond. I think the formal statement from CM is expected anytime now. But having said that, there are the government has been expecting at least 1 or 2 announcements with regard to that Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, where the policy two language formula, which Tamil Nadu has been following, and then so some funds were held up. So not some funds, about I think 1,200 crores, I said 2,000 crores around that figure. It has been held up, and then so they expected some sort of relief because it affects the payment of salary to teachers and to 2 lakh teachers and all that. And then some 44 lakh students are covered under the scheme. So I think that was not so there is no such no announcement, no at least the offer to Tamil Nadu. No such thing is there. And of course, this Metro Rail project, and then some issues have been sorted out, and then but still they were expecting some 10,000 crores, 16,000 crores the next year at least. So that is, or there is no mention about Metro Rail. So there are, and then the disaster management.
Just quickly, TRK, last year, even though Metro Rail was not mentioned, and it was, the government was quite furious about it, particularly because phase 2 has been at full steam. A few months later, the finance minister sort of, shall we say, amended that, course corrected, as you rightly pointed out, and made allocations. So what did the government formally or specifically, the Tamil Nadu government, ask for further allocations this year? I mean, anyway, it's a 5-year or a much longer project.
Yes. But this year, for the current year, they wanted some 10,000 crore to be sanctioned, and then for next year, 16,000 crore. Maybe in that, just I checked with this Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, where this Metro Rail projects allocation is there. So it is you have to go into the still further details of the ministry. So I can't find any reference to Chennai Metro Rail at the surface level. So that's so how much money has been allocated. But the limited point that I am trying to convey, that is beyond this Samagra Shiksha Metro Rail. See, Tamil Nadu has been natural disaster vulnerable state. Okay, it has been facing one cyclone or the other, something like that, and then it gets hit frequently. Okay, so at present that the SDRF and NDRF rules are there, but they are not sufficient for the state. Okay, and then what they say is that if you do some temporary restoration work, we will give you some money. But if say, for example, in 2023, that year you have Coil Patnam some 90 centimeter in 24 hours and all that, so the national highway had been washed away. So what they are saying is, you come to us with a Paka plan project, and then we will sanction or we will consider. But the point is that the connectivity gets completely washed away. And if you are going to say these rules, okay, these rules all right for states which are not as vulnerable to natural disaster as Tamil Nadu. But Tamil Nadu is every year, so whether because of climate change or anything else, the factor is that what causes this thing to happen. It has to be examined much more elaborately. But the point is that this is the main because they have to spend an enormous amount of money, and every year. Okay. So there is no announcement with regard to the government of India's new thinking in this area. Okay, that is, they have to announce, say that we will revise the policy or we will revise the scheme. No such thing. So that is, I think I think the Tamil Nadu government would be justified in feeling having been let down.
I was, listening to the budget. A couple of things that occurred to me. One was that I wondered whether of the 100 gigawatt, hugely ambitious 100 gigawatt nuclear power ambition that the government has set out, by 2047, I believe. Tamil Nadu already is a state where there are nuclear plants functioning, and I wondered if some bit of that could come to Tamil Nadu as a state which already sort of has a, if we can call it a conducive atmosphere. It's also a state which is highly industrialized and where per capita electricity consumption is pretty high, and decarbonization is something that has been attempted, and the government is fairly advanced in setting up windmills off the coast of Kanyakumari, etc. In terms of plans. That was one area, and then a couple of other areas I thought of was this religious tourism, the re-emphasis of religious tourism. Tamil Nadu has quite a few places, in Srirangam and in Meenakshi Amman temple in Madurai and in Tanjavur, etc. So might there be those sort of peripheral provisions, and also the manuscript preservation that the government has also laid emphasis on, the Indian language manuscripts. So Tamil Nadu might probably be, one of those states where which might benefit from it. Those were my thoughts. Maybe you could.
Right. Okay. But as far as this, the nuclear, there's other two, I think they are all ongoing schemes, because the Tamil Nadu government has been making use of funds, under that religious tourism and then manuscripts. In fact, if you ask some Delhi Delhi-based bureaucrat who is non-Tamil, they will say that Tamil Nadu is very smart in pushing their projects, the proposals well in advance, and following and then do follow up. So they get funds, as a matter of routine or as part of the bureaucratic process. That is, so I think these two projects have been there for quite some time. That is the last two. But coming to nuclear power, the problem is that you need land, and as far as this Kudangulam is concerned, as far as I know, because I had been talking to those who were collectors in 80s, and then subsequently, so the whatever land that they acquired in 1986, 87, 88, around that period, is sufficient for maximum 8,000 megawatt. So you will have another. For now they are doing on the 5th and 6th, and then they have started 5th and 6th units. 3rd and 4th units are going to be commissioned in a matter of 1 or 2 years. 5th and 6th, I think they have started work, and then 7th and 8th they will begin once they finish this 3rd and 4th. So what they were saying, and even Jairam Ramesh some 15 years ago told me, when he was Union Minister of State for Power with independent charge. So he said that they were the Tamil Nadu bureaucrats had they were really visionary, and then for having no foresight, and then they have got land acquired for 8,000 megawatt. Unless the government of India, Department of Atomic Energy, is going to revise or relax norms, with regard to land availability, which the Central Electricity Authority did some about 10 years ago, because once upon a time, for a 1 megawatt of coal-fired thermal power plant, this much land was required. So that was the norm that they were saying. But the state governments were finding difficult to fulfill the norms because lands are not available. The point is this: there's a lot of public opposition. So so many things. So then they reduce they substantially reduce the land requirement norms. So unless that kind of revision, if it is going to be done, how much new power plants will come up in Tamil Nadu? It's a matter of debate. But of course, maybe in Dharmapuri, and then there is where the relatively backward areas, because Kudangulam was chosen for two reasons. One is it is on the coast. You need water, and then also it is. It was at that time it was much farther from the human settlement habitations. But I had been to Kudangulam in 2011. But by the time this Kudangulam power plant, you have started having this colonies in and around the power plant. But anyhow, but some safeguards are being done. But the point is this: there is an enormous pressure on land. So
which might actually limit.
They need to,
also, the state. The state has other avenues for renewable energy, and it might actually be overlooked when it comes to this.
Yes,
TRK, thank you so much. I think we're completely out of time. I'll just quickly go to Appaji Redam, who I believe has joined us now, our resident editor from Andhra Pradesh. Appaji, thanks so much. We've been speaking to all the opposition-ruled states in the south, but we have you back now. Last year for Andhra Pradesh, there was a conspicuous mention of about 15,000 crore rupees for the capital. Of course, that's far short of what the Chandrababu Naidu government has been demanding, and far short of what he's been mentioning for years now, much before, right from the time when the state was, when Andhra and Telangana were bifurcated a decade ago. So, and then this time around, there hasn't been any mention. Of course, this is not an election year. We've, it's a fairly settled coalition, which is back now in Amravati. So maybe take us from there. What have been the reactions maybe from the government and the opposition? And is there a sense of disappointment that is not being mentioned by TDP, but maybe in hushed tones? You were quite okay the first time around. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kunal. That's right. On the face of it, the budget 2024-25 has disappointed Andhra Pradesh, given the fact that the TDP and Janasena party from the state are in alliance with the BJP at the center. There were huge expectations out of the present budget. But surprisingly, there was no mention of AP in the budgetary speech of Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman. But some state leaders see the sunny side of it and say that the special assistance and stops announced for agriculture, industries, MSME, ports and airports, seafood exports, Jal Jeevan Mission, etc., urban development, and these sectors will get benefited. And as a matter of fact, state stands first in terms of seafood exports. And
Right.
there are also other aspects where AP is likely to get benefited. And support for EV and lithium-ion battery manufacturing is also significant for the state. And this apart, there seems to be some minor allocations to certain projects such as Polavaram, Vizag Steel Plant, Visakhapatnam Port, road infrastructure, etc. In the state. But for that, it requires a closer look at the voluminous budget document. So it's not done yet. If you look at the last budget, the state was given financial assistance of about 15,000 crore through external loans, assistance, facilitation of external loans from World Bank, etc. And another 11,000 crore assistance for promised through HUDCO. So, and during the last government, last 5 years between 2019 and 24, during the YSR regime, the state was given 60,000 crore plus in the budgets. So in the backdrop of the state bifurcation into Telangana and AP, in fact, state doesn't have a capital. It's trying to build a capital. Last two consecutive governments, the state's expectations are high from the center, but there is no mention so far. Most importantly, the important leaders haven't yet responded on the budget. It's only the second rank and third rank leaders have responded. We're just waiting. The key leaders are yet to respond. So it's time to wait and watch for now.
It's an interesting sort of coalition where the TDP has the upper hand mostly. So it'll be interesting to see how the Telangana, Telugu Desam, particularly the meteoric chief minister, has to say on this. And as you rightly pointed out, and also just to quickly correct maybe a slip on your part, it's the 25-26 budget that was presented. And as you rightly mentioned, the 15,000 crore rupees wasn't actually a central assistance. It was an external grant that was enabled, and all of what was mentioned for Andhra Pradesh in the last budget were actually external grants that were enabled. So Appaji, thank you so much for that overview, and I'll let you go and maybe track all the developments for the rest of the day and update as and when you can. We're almost out of time, but I thought that we could possibly take Vinaya Deshpande, our Chief of Bureau from Maharashtra, who sort of was waiting to join us to give us an update on how Maharashtra, one of the industrial hubs of the country, is reacting. If we do not have her, could we have the RE of Kerala, Anandan, probably just give us an update on how the government in Kerala is reacting, and it was also one of the southern states which didn't get anything last year. Do we possibly have Anandan on here?
Trivandrum.
Okay,
Anandan
Tiki is. I apologize. Hi,
So,
Tiki.
that's fine. So, like,
Thank you for joining from Trivandrum. Yes. So, any reactions from Chief Minister?
Yeah. At first glance, it is more or less a repetition of last time.
Right.
Because Kerala had asked for a 24,000 crore economic package, same as last time, in addition to a 5,000 crore special assistance for the Vizhinjam Seaport project that Adani is building. So these, they have repeated the demands this time too, but it has not found any mention in the budget speech. So this time, Kerala was also looking for a special 2,000 crore assistance for the rehabilitation process in Wayanad.
Right.
Where we had the landslide
and disaster there,
Okay. So at first glance, I didn't see anything in the budget documents regarding any assistance, and also 1,000 crore for 1,000 crore for handling human wildlife conflict, because Kerala has been having an increasing incidence of last month a plantation worker was mauled to death by a tiger. So these state specific demands have not found any mention in the budget. So Finance Minister K. N. Balagopal has already gone on record calling it a disappointing budget for Kerala. And he has also said that the allocation of resources, like the budget allocations, have lopsided among the states. Kerala has not found any consideration in the budget. So the Chief Minister is yet to respond. And the UDF opposition, the Congress opposition also, I think the responses are yet to come in. But
I was just wondering, quickly, I'm sorry to interrupt. One of the things that might benefit Kerala, maybe indirectly, was this mention of 50 tourism sites. I mean, Kerala already has...
that is there. So we'll have to see how it works out for Kerala. And the Jal Jeevan mission, it has been extended to 2028. So Kerala is lagging behind. I think Kerala is last on the list, like as far as the implementation is concerned. So Kerala demanded an extension of the deadline, actually. So and the other thing is that the IIT capacity, especially the IITs after 2014. I think IIT Palakkad should benefit from that announcement. And when it comes to the power sector, Kerala had demanded that the 0.5% additional borrowing tied to the power sector reform should be extended to 25-26. I think that is found a mention in the budget.
That is found a mention. That's right.
Yeah, that is there. But on the other hand, the nuclear energy thing, Kerala, a section of the power department is actually the Kerala State Electricity Board had suggested one or two sites, Chimeni, and the Union Power Minister Manohar Lal, when he had visited Kerala recently, he said that the center was ready, the state was ready to provide the land.
I see.
Acres. So, but Kerala has a history, like in the 80s and 90s, when nuclear energy plants were proposed in Kerala, there was a lot of public opposition.
That's right.
Even now, those who oppose the project point out that there is no, we have yet to devise a safe ways of disposing the nuclear waste. And Kerala also, it's a small state, so land is also, it's very difficult to find land. But Kerala is receiving 266 megawatts from Kudankulam in Tamil Nadu.
Right, from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that works out, nuclear energy.
Right.
But Kerala has a renewable energy.
It is an interesting issue because the Finance Minister mentioned power is one of the 5 engines that she mentioned, and Kerala has for long been a power deficit state. Of course, it's attempted rooftop solar and so many other renewable energy measures, and it largely gets its power from hydro. But it's yet to really sort of
But in the last few years, you can see that the solar power, the installed capacity has crossed 1,000 megawatts now.
That's substantial.
So that so that has created a new set of problems, because you can't store, you don't have large storage, battery energy storage systems or anything now. So Kerala is planning battery energy storage systems and pump storage projects. So
maybe the grid scale storage that she's mentioned might probably assist Kerala in that.
I think there's a viability gap funding is available for that. Kerala, I think already Kerala has been sanctioned 135 crore for BESS projects.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, Tiki. Thank you so much. And we really need to be wrapping this up. I believe my colleague Shiv Sahai Singh has been waiting quite patiently from Kolkata. He probably has bad news from the government there. But Shiv, thank you so much for waiting this patiently. I know you wanted to leave quite early on, but any initial reactions from the Mamata Banerjee government and or any other opposition states there, and particularly, were there any specific demands that the chief minister or the government had before ahead of the budget?
So, right. So, West Bengal is again one of the opposition ruled states, and there is no mention of West Bengal in the budget. So, it has been the case over the past few budgets, and it is more or less on the expected lines. Now, as far as demands are concerned, there are a number of central schemes such as NGNREGA and even PM Awas, funds for which has been stopped by the center. Now, there is a lot of politics here on that the center should release these funds, and the state government is now having its own schemes so far this is concerned. So the initial reaction from the Trinamool Congress is that, this has been the practice. There are 12 BJP MPs from West Bengal. They should have protested it. Earlier there were 18, nothing happened. We are not getting. We have to understand that West Bengal has been one of the states where the party in power has hardly been in power at the center. So most of the politics here has been about the politics center is continuously depriving us. And this will continue. Bihar, we are sandwiched between Bihar and Assam, both mentioned in the budget, and West Bengal was left out. So it will have repercussions here in the politics. The BJP here in West Bengal is again highlighting the income tax relief as a major achievement. And we have elections in 2026, and this center versus state thing will, I think, continue to play out as it has been playing out.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. A couple of other things that I wondered that might have resonated with audiences in West Bengal might be the fact that there's some mention again of manuscripts of maybe medical colleges editions, like and expansion of the IIT. Campuses and capacities and things like that. I wonder indirectly if there's expectations.
If there is, if the fine print has any mention, there are West Bengal is also a very disaster-prone state like Tamil Nadu and Odisha. Yeah. So there are regular correspondence from the chief minister seeking assistance for cyclones,
particularly cyclones.
Post, I was also wondering, post the situation in Bangladesh, where there must have been some allocation, particularly on upgrading border infrastructure, which I couldn't hear because West Bengal shares a very long contiguous border with Bangladesh. So these were some issues, but again, it's on expected lines, and we haven't had any major project announced in the past 3-4 years in this state.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shiv. Shiv Sahai Singh there, heading the Calcutta Bureau for the Hindu, joining us from Calcutta. And I think that's all we have time for this live telecast of a first blush analysis of the union budget presented by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman earlier in the day. Do follow us on your favorite social media platform. And if not, do download our app for instant updates. And if you do subscribe to our newspaper, you'll have a full coverage of the budget in tomorrow's paper, where we have about 9 dedicated pages and opinion pages, which will reflect a comprehensive analysis and decoding the Union Budget 25-26. That's it from now. I'm Kunal Shankar, Deputy Business Editor, The Hindu.